All right, and we back. Gonna talk a little bit about the NBA. The NBA has been awesome. I know it's college basketball season, and the point of this video is actually about the college basketball guys that we have in this league. We're gonna talk a lot about the draft. We're gonna do a full 2-round mock draft, but obviously there's been some news in the NBA. Obviously, Jason Tatum sprained his ankle. He's probably gonna be fine, but just things to know about. Bronny had a 39-point game. I mean, all the way down to the G League. LeBron obviously hyping him up. It's great to see Bronny continuing to play well. But the funniest thing to me, outside of what we're actually going to talk about, is the Doc Rivers called that unfair criticism for blowing 3-1 leads, saying that he doesn't get enough credit for getting the 3 wins in general to even blow a 3-1 lead, which is fucking hilarious to me. But okay, back to the point of the video. I just want to do a little quick thing there. We're going to talk about the NBA and do a complete 2-round full mock draft, and I'm going to use base projections based on the team records for these projections. So right now, Washington is projected to get the #1 pick. I think obviously they go Cooper Flag. Cooper Flag is obviously the best player in the country. Plays like Jalen Johnson. I know that's a poor comparison for a #1 pick, but I don't want to sit here and say Kevin Garnett because I think that's his other comp. But comparing an 18-year-old kid to Kevin Garnett is pretty fucking brutal. But he's obviously a stud, right? We know how good Cooper Flag is. At 2, I think the Utah Jazz, they would go with Dylan Harper, right? Dylan Harper, I think his floor is Kobe White, and Kobe White was the 7th overall pick. He's really come to his own the last couple years, excuse me. But I think you're seeing probably more of a De'Aaron Fox or Jalen Brunson. I think Jalen Brunson is probably the closer comp just because he doesn't have that quick twitch athleticism that a De'Aaron Fox does. But the Jazz need a lead guard. Right now they're running with Isaiah Collier and Jordan Clarkson, and they're, 15 and 55 for a reason. So at 3, I think the Hornets go with someone like VJ Edgecombe, right? I love Ace Bailey, but the problem with Ace Bailey that I have is he relies too much on his tough shot making. Whereas VJ Edgecombe, he's a really raw prospect, but he is a freak athlete, right? I think his floor is someone like Iman Shumpert. And again, Iman Shumpert is not where you want to take the #3 pick, but I think his peak is someone like Victor Oladipo. And I think right in the middle is Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins was the #1 overall pick, freak athlete, and an all-star, right? And he just scored 40 the other night. So he's a good player. I think Victor Oladipo is the best comp. He's a little taller than Oladipo, I think Oladipo was 6'4", he's 6'6". Got 52 made threes, an elite defender when he's locked in, and he has a high motor, very high athlete. At 4, the Pelicans, they're projected here at 1953. I think they would go Ace Bailey, right? I think Ace Bailey, I know it's tough to compare someone like Ace Bailey to someone who's only been in the league for a short time, but I think he very much profiles like Brandon Miller, profiles like, if you're an older head, Rashard Lewis, somewhere in the middle, maybe like a Michael Porter Jr. I mean, tunnel vision, high-level shot maker, but not a very high-level shot taker in terms of the ease of his shots. But, I mean, he can shoot the fucking ball, right? Like, he can score, and that's what Michael Porter Jr. is there for. At 5, someone that I think has come on very strong, especially during the tournament. If you've watched the tournament, you know who I'm about to talk about. Derek Queen. I know the comp I'm about to give him is kind of insane because you might not have seen it. To me, he plays like Alperen Sengun, right? Like, he can score putting the ball on the floor. He can face up. He can score back to the basket. He's made he's not an elite shooter, but he can shoot the ball. He's got confidence in that outside shot, and he's going to have a lot to work on, especially on defense, but offensively, he is an absolute rock star. At 6 for Philly, if they manage to keep this pick at 23 and 47, I think they would go Trey Johnson and get someone next to, I have to pull my sock up, itching, to Tyrese Maxey, or that can slide in and replace Paul George eventually. I mean, listen, the dude can flat out fucking score. It's unreal how good of a scorer he is. Listen, he's gonna have to play make, and he's gonna have to learn to get to the rim at a higher level, and he's gonna have to learn how to play impact defense. But this dude plays like Tyler Hero. Just, you want to talk about a pure bucket getter. At 7, I want to talk about someone another team in the SEC. I want to talk about Jeremiah Fears out of Oklahoma, right? I think Jeremiah Fears would, I don't think that he would love to go to Toronto, but I think Toronto would love Jeremiah Fears, put him next to Emmanuel Quickly, put Emmanuel Quickly back on the bench. I don't know how you would do it, but he is a true lead guard. He plays like, again, 2 younger guys in Jaden Ivey and Scoot Henderson, but I mean, he can score, he's fast, he can speed. That's a stupid ass sentence. He's got high level shiftiness. He's got 3-level shot making. His shooting and decision making aren't there, but he's 18 years old. Actually, no, I lied. He's 17. He reclassed, so he should be a senior in high school right now. But he's a stud. At 8, the Miami Heat have this pick at 28 and 39. I think the Miami Heat would go Jace Richardson. Jace Richardson has been an absolute flamethrower the last 2 months, and he's really risen up draft boards. It's kind of been incredible. He plays like Reed Shepard, a high-level connector, but obviously comparing him to his dad is cheap. He can shoot the ball. He can really put the ball on the floor. great offensive player and a dog on defense. He's been a high usage guy. He's got a reliable finisher. He's a reliable shot maker. He's a high energy guy. And he offers more creativity than any of the analytics are going to suggest. He's been incredibly efficient off the ball, but he's one of the nation's most efficient on-ball scorers with drives, elite finishing, and a 41% clip on pull-ups. I mean, he's a dog. At 9 for San Antonio, I think you have your pieces. I think you have Stephon Castle. I think you have De'Aaron Fox. You have Wemby. Now it's, okay, let's get some connectors. Concanipple, right? Concanipple, it's really easy to just compare him to white shooters like Corey Kispert and Sadiq Bey. Like, it's just really easy. A little lazy of a comp, but I'm going to go with it. Another guy, hints of Sadiq Bey, right? He's got quick release threes. He attacks closeouts off the dribble. He's a dog. 10 for the Bulls. If we manage to get this guy, I would be so shocked. Not shocked, but so excited. 31 and 40. We're probably going to play our way out of Kaman Maluwak. Plays like Mark Williams, another Dookie, but he is a dog. A 7'2", 250 center. He's 18 years old out of South Sudan. He's a very raw prospect, but he's at 57 dunks, 78% clip from the field, 7'6" wingspan. He's a mobile big. He can protect the rim. Listen, right? At the end of the day, very raw prospect, but if you're the Bulls, you want to take a swing on something like this, I would love it. At 11 for Portland, I don't particularly love this pick for Portland, but I don't know where else I would go. I like Colin Murray Boyles for Portland, right? Plays like Julius Randle. If you're older, he plays kind of like Anthony Mason, right? Doesn't have a jump shot, but he's a 6'7", 240 big who can score in the post. He can score facing up. He can score back to the basket. He's got high-level strength, footwork, instincts. He's got an array of a bag. Late in the lottery, you might as well take a swing. At 12 for Dallas, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but you need a lead guard, right? You have Anthony Davis, theoretically. You have Kyrie Irving, who can be a lead guard, but you want to get someone younger, someone European. Wow, it's almost like you had someone like that. But I digress. I would go with Kasparis Jokionis. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Kasparis Jokionis. He's from Illinois. I've been watching this kid off and on all year. Still don't know how to pronounce his fucking name. Bad on me. I'm going to compare him to someone like Chauncey Billups, which is a interesting comp considering Chauncey Billups' last name or his nickname was Big Shot Billups. Whereas Kasparis, he struggled to make shots in the Big Ten and the NCAA tournaments, right? But shot making and shooting isn't a major concern for him. Positional size, clever maneuvering. He's an elite passer. He's got high level IQ. He is a good shooter, just didn't shoot well in the tournament. He looks in complete control, and he's 6'6" for a point guard, so 200 yards. He just doesn't have the athletic limitations, but neither did Luka. So I'm not comparing him to Luka. But, next up at 13, I want to go with the Houston Rockets here. They have the Suns pick, and the Suns are 34 and 37. So they've gone up a little bit. They're positioned. I think someone like Asa Newell would be awesome for Houston, right? Plays a little bit like, again, guys in the league in Jonathan Isaac, Jalen Smith, Brandon Clark, just shades of like a rangy four who isn't necessarily the best offensive player, but is athletic. I mean, yeah, he had 20 and 8 against Gonzaga. Just off one-handers, timely athletic finishers. He doesn't have an offensive skill set, really. But safe pick vibes at 6'11", 220, and he's a good defender at the 4 and the 5 and can really switch onto, I wouldn't say guards, but smaller wings. So I'd love that if I was Houston. The Atlanta Hawks, they have the Kings pick here at 14. I think they would go Noah Sungay. Now, Noah Sungay, again, I've talked about only, I believe, one European player or a player that isn't in college right now. Yeah, everybody else is in college. So here's my thing. Noah Sungay, I have not seen a single clip or a single game of. I've seen clips, you've seen highlights, whatever. I don't really know how well he'll project, right? But he plays based on what I've seen, like a Jabari Walker out of Portland or a Precious Achiuwa. He doesn't have any individual advanced skills, but he's an 18-year-old kid who's found ways to score in a high league in Europe, right? Runs the floor, times his cuts, puts back misses, attacks defenders in space. He has promising defensive potential as well at 6'9", 200, but he's just a raw prospect. For Orlando at 15 here, 34 and 36, they need more offense, and more importantly, they need more shooting. I would go Liam McNeely. Plays very much like Keegan Murray. He's going to fit in as a tertiary piece where he can shoot the hell out of the ball, attack closeouts off the dribble, and play good defense. And pretty athletic. Very underrated athlete, Liam McNeely is. Good transition finisher as well. I think he would fit in well in Orlando. 16, this is San Antonio's pick via Atlanta. I think you try a high upside wing here. In this, Carter Bryant's still available. He'd be awesome. Plays like Marcus Morris. I'm the former Jayhawk. Obviously a great player. Good NBA player, but he was a great college player. Just not necessarily, he's a raw prospect, but he has like flashes of like high-level footwork. There was a play, I think it was in the Big 12 tournament. Drives left. It might have been against Kansas, drives left, or it was against BYU, drives left, baseline, right foot in the ground, complete spin, fade away, just drilled it. It was awesome. Great defender, just really raw, and I think, probably projects as like a 6'8" 3-and-D wing. Exactly what Marcus Morris was. Marcus Morris had more of an offensive bag later as he got in the league, but wasn't that, deep when he was entering. Minnesota has Detroit's pick here at 17. This is a guy, again, I don't really know enough about, but I think he fits their team. Again, you don't really know if you have the long-term answer next to Anthony Edwards at point guard. Obviously, Mike Conley is 39, I think, at this point, or 38. You don't know what Rob Dillingham looks like, and you probably need more of a point guard in Ben Saraf. That's what I'm going to go with here. I'm gonna be lazy with my pro comp and say Manu Ginobili. He's an extra ball, good ball handler. He's been slumping lately, and the 3-point shot is not there right now. But he can set up guys with his playmaking. He's got a good change of speed, craft, and his high level vision, and he can shoot the ball in the mid range. So the theoretical 3-point shot is there. And so again, he's playing in a really tough league at 18 over in Israel. Or excuse me, not over in Europe. He's Israeli. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. At 18, I think the Jazz go Igor Demon, which would be awesome for Igor Demon. Plays a lot like Josh Giddey. I know another lazy comp, but I've seen a lot of Igor Demon. His shot is very much similar to Josh Giddey's in terms of like just the mechanics of it. But he hasn't been able to hit threes consistently, but a high-level passer. He's a 6'9" point guard, so great positional size. And again, Igor Demon has been awesome. I've watched not a lot of BYU, but I've definitely watched a lot of BYU down the stretch, but a little bit early, and he's been the catalyst of that offense. So next up here, Brooklyn has Milwaukee's pick due to the Kyle Kuzma. No, I don't know what trade they made. To be honest, I don't remember. But they have this pick. It would be interesting to me. Nolan Traore here was a guy who was last year at the beginning of this year, he was actually mocked to go, I think, believe top 5 as the premier point guard in this class. But he plays a lot like Lonzo Ball, and I don't think that's a bad thing by any stretch, right? But there's going to be teams that have zero interest in a ball-dominant guard who doesn't shoot or finish well, right? And Lonzo was not an elite finisher. He still really isn't. But there's going to be teams that are interested in an advanced playmaker and starting point guard at 18 years old, right? He can run an offense. He can run a pick and roll. He's fast. He's got high-level passing, but he can put pressure on a defense. The shot making isn't there right now, but that's a skill you can work on. And I think he'd be a good fit in Brooklyn, especially because you have time to develop over there. Again, staying over in Europe, Oklahoma City, we know how much they love to just get these draft and stash guys. I think they would go someone like Noah Penda. Plays like Nick Batum, right? He has pedestrian stats, but at the end of the day, he's a 6'8", 230 power forward. He can make open threes, cut to the basket, and he's a really good defender. I think fit would outweigh upside with Noah Penda here. Miami Heat, I think here they have the Warriors pick at 21 at this point. I think they would love someone like Nick Clifford out of Colorado State. Again, not a guy I've seen too much of. Obviously, I watched both the tournament games, and he killed it. Very much so. Plays like another Mountain West guy in Cody Martin out of Nevada. He had 21, 7, and 6 against Maryland. In a game they probably should have won, right? But his overall production and development from a year ago definitely won scouts over, right? He's a Swiss Army knife. He can finish plays. He can pass the ball. He can rebound. He can defend. And he can defend different spots, right? Like he's 6'6", 200, listed as a small forward, power forward. If he's going to be a power forward, he's going to be a small ball 4. But he can guard twos, and he's not going to guard the best ones, but he can hold his own. But at Colorado State, he was the 1A option, and he never was flustered. So it's awesome to see that. At 22, I have another Illinois player here going Will Riley. He plays like a rookie from this year in Keyshawn George. Very raw, but a good shooter, underrated athlete. Right, against Xavier, 22 points and 12 shots, but against Kentucky, silent. Like, the ups and downs are going to be there. He's a kid. He's 19 years old, but he's 6'8", 180, right? There's upside in a 6'8", 180 wing, and he has bust potential, and that's why he's going at 22 instead of 12. But at the end of the day, if he has time to develop, and in Indiana he would. We just saw them take Johnny Furphy last year, another player very similar to this at 35. I think why not take a shot at the dark? Washington Wizards. Here they have Memphis Grizzlies pick at 23. I think they could go Thomas Sorber here for Georgetown. I got not a guy I've seen a lot of, but he plays like Onyeka, right? I think Sorber has fallen because of his pre-draft injury, right? A foot injury on a big guy is gonna raise some red flags. He hasn't played since February 15th, and he was in check against a lot of NCAA tournament caliber teams. But his finishing tools, post skills, and passing were noticeably advanced, right? 2 blocks, 1.5 steals, so 2 and 2, and he doesn't really shoot the ball well, but the fact that there's something to be said about someone who walks into a shot, right, and is confident about it, whether or not they're missing it, because they believe they can make it, and they probably maybe should. Like if JJ Redick was shooting 30% on threes for a season, you're still gonna be like, oh, it's JJ. Not necessarily it's JJ Redick, but you know what I mean. So the Atlanta Hawks have the Lakers pick this season at 24. I think the the Hawks would go Isaiah Evans out of Duke, right? Another guy plays like another Dookie in AJ Griffin, who, funnily enough, was in Atlanta. Been quiet, and obviously the scouts want to see him play more, but he, just a stud going back to high school. High-level shot maker, And it's not like it goes away when he's given extended minutes to Duke. He's just playing on such a fucking loaded team, right? But high level 6'6" score, so it's like you're gonna take your shot, and maybe the rest of the stuff develops. The Denver Nuggets have Orlando's pick here at 25. I think this is a team that they would go another European guy, and Hugo Gonzalez out of Spain, playing for Real Madrid. Again, a guy that I haven't seen much of. I'm gonna go with a really interesting comp. He plays kind of like, based on what I've seen, like Jonathan Kuminga, only playing like 10 minutes a game in Real Madrid. He's gonna have to wait till the workouts to really sell himself to NBA teams, but he's had some promising sequences, right? He's got NBA wing size, as he is 6'7", high level athlete. Good finisher on the basket, good defensive energy. He can shoot the ball. There just hasn't been any creation or shot making diversity, so you're really looking at a limited playmaker in terms of what he's able to offer you offensively right away. If you're willing to put more stock on the U18 and the FIBA tape, sure, but he's averaging 3 points in 10 minutes a game, so it's like I have a feeling he'll fall. The Brooklyn Nets have the Knicks pick here at 26. Again, this is a guy I actually don't know if I've seen anything outside of clips. Rasheer Fleming out of St. Joe's, a 6'9", 240 power forward, plays like Taylor Hendricks, if you remember him from UCF a couple years ago. At the end of the day, like, he had a rough postseason, but he's the only player in the country with 63s and 40 dunks. And he's only one of 8 players ever in college to do that. A clear stretch 4 role at the NBA, right? He can catch, shoot, finish at the highest level, and he's a good defender. The Brooklyn Nets here at 27 have the Houston Rockets pick, and this is a guy I think has played his way up into the draft. He definitely someone that I could see falling and or continuing to rise into the late 20s or the early 20s. Danny Wolf, right? Plays like Kyle Anderson, very, big guy who is not necessarily let me phrase this, he's not the fastest guy, but he can pass the ball, good shot maker, handle the ball. He's got a very high level IQ. Danny Wolf would be awesome in Brooklyn because at the end of the day, getting someone to help along the rebuild and play alongside the guys that are there now would be huge. Boston Celtics at 28. If they can get Cam Jones, you want to talk about a pure bucket getter? Cam Jones is awesome, right? He didn't have his best game in Marquette's tournament loss, but he averaged 28 points per game over his previous 3 tournament games. So he can play in the tournament, right? His playmaking this year was awesome, right? Kyler Kulik was gone, so someone had to step up and fill that. He has 300 career plus threes at Marquette and a high level efficiency in terms of finishing every season, right? He's 23, so he's your senior. You know you're going to get out of him. But if you're Boston, you don't care. You want guys that can come in and contribute right now. And at the end of the day, this is a guy that would be awesome in Boston. At 29, Phoenix has Cleveland's pick, and I think they would go Yaxel Lendenborg. This is a guy I have only seen 1 game of, right? So my comparisons to Yaxel Lendenborg might not be the best, right? But I think the Phoenix Suns would love this guy, right? A 6'9", 240 guy who can flat out score. He's used to being the hub of offense. Plays like 2 guys that if you aren't familiar with, you won't know these names. But Jalen Slauson out of Furman and then Enrique Freeman out of Akron, 2 guys that have played in the last couple of years out of the smaller schools. Just absolutely the entire heart and soul of this team, right? 6'9", 240, I already mentioned that. He has the versatility to attack, finish plays, start plays, pass, get second chance points, and he makes plays defensively, but his shooting is just not there. Like, that's the problem, right? He impacts game as a Swiss Army knife, but like 23 threes this season, which is twice as many as he made last season. You just hope that he can develop a shot. If he can develop the shot, this is a steal for Phoenix. At 30, the final pick in the first round, the Clippers have the Thunder first round pick. I think they would go JT Toppin, right? He is 19, 6'9", 225, a sophomore. Plays like Precious Achiuwa. I know I've already used that comp, but he just does. He's a 6'9" post player, doesn't have the shooting, but he is a producer, bro. He consistently finds ways to score using his motor and his inside touch. I've seen him as high as, top 20 on mocks. I've seen him in the second round. Shooting is one of the biggest swing skills, and he just doesn't have it right now. But at the end of the day, worst case for me, he comes in and gets buckets as a second, and worst case, he comes in and gets second chance points and buckets as a bench big. Here at 31, the Celtics actually have the Wizards pick, so it's the first pick in the second round. Johni Broome. Johni Broome plays like the other Moors, more like Markieff, more of a post big, good passer out of the post. He's going to get a chance to carve out a role with his post skills, his passing, his defensive toughness, and he can shoot, right? Like, Johni Broome is not a bad shooter. He's not going to, pull up off a dribble, or he's, more of a catch and shoot guy, but teams that are looking for more upside, you're not going to take this pick, but the Boston Celtics are looking for guys that can come in right now. Al Horford is 300 years old, right? We just had them pick Cam Jones. Drew Holiday is not, he's not a spring chicken. So you need guys that can come in and contribute, and those are 2 guys for them would be awesome. Minnesota Timberwolves have the Jazz second round pick here. I think they would go get Maxime Renaud out of Stanford, a guy that I have not seen much of. Plays like Alex Len, that's why he's going in the second round. He's one of the main draws in the NIT. He has a 7-1 big man that has tripled his 3-point shot, or tripled his 3-point makes from this season to last. He's a dangerous finisher. He can get high above the rim. Not the best defender, but if in terms of an offensive vibe, this is your guy. At 33, Boogie Flan, right? Plays very much like Rob Dillingham, a former Coach Cal guard, but even more so like the former Charlotte Hornets guard. Plays like Kemba Walker, right? I mean, you know Boogie Flan, he can flat out score the basketball. And I think Charlotte at this point, you take and swing it on upside. Charlotte again has this pick right after due to the Pelicans, thank you to New Orleans. I think they go someone like Bogolub Markovic out of Mega. He's a Serbian player, 44% from three. He plays like Alexei Pokusevski, if you remember that name. He's a 6'11", 19-year-old, doesn't block many shots, just an offensive player that is, again, raw prospect. 35, Brooklyn, you're looking for guys that are swing and hopefully home run hits. You're staying in Europe. You're going to go after Johan Berger. Plays like Jericho Sims, a 6'11", 18-year-old, high shot blocker, high motor, high defensive instincts, doesn't do anything on offense, so that's why you're in the second round. At 36, if you're Philly, you're looking for guys that can come in and contribute right now. To me, I'd go get Walter Clayton. Right? I know you have Maxey. You at this point theoretically would have just drafted. I don't know remember who I had them drafted. Trey Johnson. So you have your backcourt, but at the end of the day, going to get a bench guard at this point, someone who's going to be good for a while, like a Fred VanVleet, and hell, maybe he's good enough to start and you go three bigs or three guards and you have Trey Johnson play the three because he has the positional size to do that. But again, just a senior guard. He knows when to hit his spots. He can score from everywhere. Good passer. And, he's not a short. I mean, he's short. He's 6'3", short for NBA players. 6'3", 200, but he can play, man. Walter Clayton's been awesome. The Detroit Pistons have this pick here at 37 due to the Raptors, and I want to say thank you to the Raptors for this. I think Detroit, at this point, you're looking for more proven guys, right? I think you kind of have your theoretical 5 or 6 guys who you're going to bank on to be the core, and now you're adding to them with tertiary pieces. Tertiary pieces like a Chaz Lanier would be awesome, right? Plays like a Seth Curry, plays like an Alec Burks. Dude can shoot the ball. But he's not really much of a defender, right? He's an offensive weapon, and if you're looking for lack of versatility, and that's what you're looking for. Seth Curry, Alec Burks, just a 6'4" guy who can score the ball. The Golden State Warriors have this pick at 38 due to Miami in the trade for Andrew Wiggins or Jimmy Butler. And if Ian Jackson's still here, I'm Golden State. I'm ecstatic, right? Plays like Malik Beasley, a hot check, shot check, heat check guard. Right, he can he can drive. He can create jumpers for himself. He's got confident shot making. He has no playmaking. Right, shot making is not there. He's not really offering anything. So you're kind of looking at a scoring specialist, but maybe you can mold him into something else. And if there's anybody that can, it'll be Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors. 39. This one breaks my heart. The San Antonio Spurs to get LeBaron Philon. Should have been a Kansas Jayhawk. I don't even want to talk about it. Same with Liam McNeely. Don't want to talk about that either. God damn it. Sad day. Plays like Kobe Buffkin, right? He has I don't know if he's going to declare. He's only a freshman. He's going to have a difficult decision because Mark Sears is going to be gone. So theoretically, he might be able to one to come in and take that next step and take over from Mark Sears. And if he does that successfully, he'll be a top 15 guy next year. But he can create and he can get to his spots. He's got high level deceleration, body control. He's got good floater touch. He's a good passer. Problem is he's not really a shooter, so the range is out of there. He's only 6'4", 170. Rangy guard, but not someone that you're going to be able to put on bigger wings, and so that's why he's down here. At 40, I have the Sacramento Kings. They have this pick because they traded, this was in the Kevin Huerter trade from the Bulls. I think they'd go Alex Tuhey, plays like Bojan Bogdanovic. I know, easy comp. I'm going to be lazy at this point. Like a guy that could double the three-point makes, but this three-point shot is still a question mark. Offensively, great wing, but it's the defense that teams are going to question. It'll be interesting to see what happens during the combine scrimmages. Toronto has pick 41 from the Blazers. I think they would go with Duthio, right? Get a guy that can come in. He's only 20, plays a little bit like Keldon Johnson. Shooting's not there, but he's improved his ability to create for himself and score inside the arc. So like he can score there. A freak athlete, right? Play finishing, transition offense, defensive playmaking. The only thing he really can't do is shoot. If that comes along, he'll be a steal here at 41. At 42, Orlando. Go get Ryan Kalkbrenner. You have a lot of guys that can score, but go get a guy that you can, like, he can contribute. He's a mammoth of a man, 7'2", 220. Plays like Colin Castleton, if you know who that is. The upside isn't really there unless the three-point shot comes around, but at 7'1", with a refined post game and interior defense, like, why not? At 43, the Washington Wizards have this pick from the Suns. I think they would go Milo Zuzan out of Houston, right? Plays a little bit like Ryan Nembhard out of Indiana. He's had a breakout year, is carried into the postseason. He's given the nation's best defensive team an extra boost of defense, playmaking, and shot making. Listen, he has an outstanding assist-to-turnover ratio. The problem is, how good is he going to be outside of this Houston system? It'll be interesting. And how well can you guard him at 6'4", 190? But he's not really the best off-the-dribble scorer. He's a great setup man, but it'll be interesting to see how teams use him. At 44, Utah, I would have him taking Alex Condon. They have this pick from Dallas. Alex Condon out of Florida has been awesome. Plays like Jakob Poeltl, right? He had a 27-10 game against Alabama. I'm looking at his stats here. His passing is good. He's a good defender. He's a high IQ player. How well again, only 20, 6'11", 230, so there's a chance he comes back. How well he performs in the tournament is probably going to be a key to determine if he stays or goes. In scouts, the shooting obviously isn't there, so they're kind of determining how real that is. And he really can't score in the key as he struggled to score with one hand instead of going up with two and trying to dunk it. At 45, the Oklahoma City Thunder have this pick. I didn't see this guy, I don't think, once until the tournament. Bennett Stritz out of Drake, fucking dog, bro. Plays like Tyler Kolek. He had consecutive 21-point games against Missouri and Texas Tech in the NCAA tournament. 19.6 assists and led Drake to 30 wins this season. Obviously, the physical tools, the athletic limitations are there. And he's a senior or junior, he's 21. But he is an offensive dog. And, you wonder how well that'll translate. For Oklahoma City, take a flyer. Fuck it. Bulls have this pick at 46 due to a trade with the Kings. So I guess they just swapped. I forgot they did this. I think you take a swing here. Michael Ruzic out of Jovanote in Europe. Plays like Mo Wagner. If he is able to fulfill that potential, him and Malawak, dogs. Washington Wizards have pick 47 due to the trade with the Detroit Pistons. I think you go De'Aaron Williams, right? 21 years old. He plays like a former Texas Tech Red Raider and a former Kansas Jayhawk. And Westchester Knicks standout, Kevin McCullough, right? He's a 225. He's 6'6", 225. Guard forward. He can guard 1 through 3. He can guard smaller fours if he needs to, right? Against Drake in the round of 32, 28 points, 5 assists. Listen, his stats have been awesome. He doesn't have he's not a high-level athlete at all, right? But he's a strong physical tool guy, shot making, and secondary playmaking. I think he'll be a good fit at the next level, and Washington would love him. At 48, I have them going with another Dookie. The Clippers, they finally have another pick here via the Timberwolves, and I think they would go Tyrese Proctor. Right, played a little bit like Shake Milton, if you remember him. There isn't a hotter shooter right now. In the tournament, Tyrese Proctor is 12 of 16 from 3, 75%, right? He's a high-level IQ player, great passer. His assist numbers are down, but I think that's just because, again, there's so many different ball handlers on this team. He does have limitations as an athlete, but at his size, his shot making, and his ball screen play could be enough to get a team to view him as a combo or a connector. At 49, Jazz have this pick via the Clippers. I think they would take a chance on Alex Garrett. Winning DNA is something the Jazz need, and he can shoot, he can score. Alex Garrett, 6'8", 225, good defender. He's a movement shooter as well. And again, you don't winning teams, winning guys. He needs to be able to score off the ball more, but he's a winner, and you'll figure things out. Cleveland has this pick at 50 due to the trade with the Bucks, and I think they would go with Sergio Dallara, another draft and stash guy. Plays like Bogdanovich, don't care, being lazy with it. He's been out, but he's shot 45 from deep. He's 6'5", 19-year-old combo guard. What else do you want? At 51, Washington has this pick via Golden State from the Chris Paul trade or the Jordan Poole trade, however you want to phrase it. But I think they would go Jameer Watkins. This is a guy I did not see much of this year. From what I did see, he plays like Karis LeVert, right? Physical scoring, he's a good ball screen player. Defensive versatility, he can shoot the ball capably. Just didn't look that different from last year when he was viewed as a second-round pick. The shooting is very skeptical, but he's a big wing who can make plays 6'7", 210. I think he would go here. Indiana has this pick at 52. I think you take a flyer on Xavier Lee, right? Plays a little bit like Scottie Pippen Jr. More of a playmaker this season, right? He had 59 threes this year and shot 42% on pull-ups. He did test the draft process last year, but didn't get to call it from the G League Ignite Combine. Earning him a direct invite to the Combine would give him a better chance to validate the 17, 6, and 6 he put up in the Ivy League. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, he played in the Ivy League, so it's not that impressive. And I think that's why he's this low. The New York Knicks via Memphis, I think you have a lot of second-round picks. You can probably trade this, but if you don't, I think you take a draft and stash guy and go get Mohamed Faye out of Senegal. Plays like Ousmane Garuba, if you know who that is. His defensive range is the draw, right? 6'10", long wingspan. But he's quick, high-level size, right? 56 dunks this season. He doesn't really defend his yard in the post that well, but he's able to slide his feet and cover ground. So if theoretically, you just have to continue to work with him. At 54, the Lakers have this pick here in the second round. I think you'd go Sion James, another Dookie. So this would be 5 because it would be Sion, Cooper, Khan, Kaman, and Tyrese. Yeah, that'd be like their whole starting 5. Wow. Plays like another Dookie in Wendell Moore, right? 6'6", 22 years old. He's a senior. He can shoot the ball, but he's a good secondary playmaker, and he can get downhill. And he shot 50% on spot-up threes this year. So that's fucking pretty impressive. At 55, Phoenix has this pick via Denver. I think you go get Eric Dixon. The league, or the nation's leader in scorers this season, plays like another former Villanova Wildcat in Eric Paschal, right? But he had 98 threes, 6'8", 250. Listen, he can score the fucking basketball. Like, that's what you're looking for in this guy. He can do it. At 56, Memphis has this pick via Houston. I think, again, you take another guy, draft and stash from Memphis, focus on defense, and you go get Rocco Zikarsky if he's available. Plays like Donovan Clingan. A knee injury ended his season, which kind of sucks, but he's a 7'2", 18-year-old center. Listen, got intriguing defensive upside, and he can get you second chance points. Fuck it. Orlando has this pick at 57 via Boston. I think you go Zvonimir Veach out of Arkansas. Plays like our Andrea Bargnani, which, again, kind of a meme. But at this point in the draft, 57, getting someone who was like a former number 1 overall pick would be awesome. He was a non-factor in the tournament shots, but he can shoot the ball. He's 7'2", 240. He has shot-making skill. He has finishing ability. And he's got defensive tools. You just can't ignore it. At 58, if you're the Cavs, I think you'd go Andrei Stojakovic out of Cal, right? Plays like it would be easy to compare him to Peja. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to compare him to Romeo Langford, right? He went for 38 in Cal's final game, capping off a breakout season, right? Didn't make a jump as a three-point shooter, which is ironic. 6'7", 3-level shot maker. Does have a strong free throw rate. If he performs well in the pre-draft process, he'll stay. If not, he probably goes back to Cal or goes back to school somewhere. And finally, the final pick. Houston has this pick via Oklahoma City, and I think they would go Donovan Dent. Donovan Dent is 6'2" point guard out of New Mexico, played well. I didn't see too much of him until the tournament, right? Plays a little bit like Ish Smith. And the shooting is not there, right? But the fact that he can get into the lane, finish, and distribute, that's high level, right? He's also threatening enough with the mid-range and the floater. He did hit 41% of his threes and 78% of his free throws, but they're wide open for the three, so it's not like it's crazy. But yeah, that's the first time I've ever done a full 2-round mock draft in a video. Let me know if you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think. I kind of ripped through it as fast as I could because I didn't want to sit here and bore you guys with full 59 picks. And there's only 59 picks because I don't remember which team it was, but someone forfeited a draft pick. So if you enjoyed that, make sure to comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Make sure to comment down below any other video you want to see. And YouTube think you're going to like this video. Find out if they're right.